These guys are with First. They're our last company of the afternoon. And we have here Mike Schneider and Jess Martin. Welcome, guys.
So while Jess is getting that set up, I want to open with a question. What's your agent's most valuable resource? You probably either thought of time or relationships. And we've all seen the studies that over 70% of real estate transactions happen through relationships. So my second question is, how well are your agents leveraging their relationships? That one's a lot harder to answer. And back to the time part for a second. As we've worked with hundreds of successful agents across the country, we've found that they're busy. They're incredibly busy, juggling clients and all the leads we've been talking about today, along with growing their team. So what happens to relationships when agents are that busy? Well, they default to one of two things, either impersonal drip or taking a very small select group of their sphere and following up in hopes of referral. In both cases, we know they're missing out on a huge opportunity. So over the next 4 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a new platform that leverages predictive analytics and machine learning to help agents strategically grow their business through relationship. I'm sure you guys have seen our first website, first.io. You've seen the mobile apps. And today, we're going to be rolling out our platform 2.0, and we're going to show you just a few of those features that highlight how this is different. So let's dive in. Little backstory. This is one of our current agents who signed up a while ago, synced his Gmail and his CRM, his LinkedIn, his Facebook. We pulled all of his data together. And now he knows, on the first thing you'll notice on the left, is that there are 197 transactions that are going to happen in his network in the next 12 months. Now, where predictive analytics starts to help with that, because you'll also see down there on the far left, there are 6,537 contacts that he has in his network, is that if he can just focus on the top 300, focus his attention, his marketing there, he's going to cover more than 80% of those 197 transactions. So the second thing to notice is that he has a list here on the right side of what he needs to be doing next. So he gets to focus his activity on the next most valuable action. This takes into account when he last contacted them, whether it was a phone call or an email, and how likely they are to move, and whether they're likely to refer in business or not. But the best part of all, and this is where predictive analytics really changes the game, is that James, one of our current agents, gets to reach out to the right people first. He gets to them 6 to 9 months before his competition knows, or they fall into a lead form, that they're going to be moving. And so he gets to start providing value to them, making relational touch points, building his brand before anyone else. So let's click in on one of these really quick and look at one of his most important relationships. And now what you'll see on the right is a lot of what you'll see in CRMs, right? We're logging the phone calls he's making and the emails, the in-person touch points, the notes he's putting in. One of the things you won't see in other CRMs are job changes, like this one pulled in from Facebook or from LinkedIn, things that are meaningful life events. And in fact, that's why we started with a mobile app, because we can buzz his phone with alerts on key things that he should be making relational touch points with, so he doesn't have to spend hours sifting through all of that. So a lot of our agents love that part. It's like a GPS for their relationships. So I want to show off another really quick feature that we've built in here, another way that agents can leverage our data. So let's add someone here. I've met Brian Buero for the 5th time today, and I still don't have him in my list. So we pull this up, and one of the things you'll notice here is that there's a lot missing, right? In most CRMs, you have to add in name, email, phone number. This is a data platform, not a CRM. So you put in his email, and what you're going to see here in just a second is we're going to pull in, let's try it again. We're having some technical issues. What you'll see here is as you spend time focusing on relationships, you get to put in names and emails. See how we can try a couple more here. And we'll be able to pull in their social profiles, the property that they own, and then there's 760 other factors we can't show you. I think that might be her Pantone color lipstick. But there are 760 other factors we can't show you, but that go into the likelihood to move that helps you focus your time. So one other thing that I wanted to show you, just as we reiterate, we're a team of data scientists and engineers focused on iterating to help you get 6 months ahead of your competition. But another big part of this is that we're building it as a platform. So we're integrating with some of the top tools in the industry so that you can leverage our data across all the tools that you use. So we've integrated with AdWorks. We're going to be adding other ones over the next 6 months. If you link up here, we can set up AdWorks to go out to the right contacts. There's no CSV upload for James. In 3 clicks, that's pulling in data from James' AdWorks, and it's live. So in closing, we're looking to change the game for agents in how they follow up with their relationships by putting all your contacts in one place, by focusing on the right next most valuable action, and leveraging our intelligence across all of your spheres so that you can follow up 6 to 9 months ahead of your competition. Thanks. We're live. Yep. There we go.
So, question for Mike. Although I will say that wasn't a glitch in your software. You put my email address in as 100 watt, not 1,000 watt. So
you missed a zero.
I am a little tired.
Missed a zero.
But, yeah. Okay. Anyway, questions for Mike.
Yeah. So when the agent gets this information, and maybe it's acquaintance that they don't know so well, but they come at it like, I see you're moving. What's the reaction?
Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, we don't recommend that opener. We also don't recommend, I just see you had a change in marital status.
Right.
But really, it's just prompts. And so that's one of the things that you will see there as we show where that data is coming from. And so it'll be, hey, I just saw that on LinkedIn. And so you can reference the source. It's always public. Right. And often there are 89 comments ahead of yours. So it's just another touch point.
Yeah.
Have you tested your algorithm? I'm assuming you have, without revealing your secret sauce. Can you give us any kind of indicators of how much more likely you're likely to move folks are than the general public?
Sure. So you can think of it, we have kind of broad buckets because, again, what does a score mean to an agent? But if someone's in the highly likely bucket to move, it's 4 to 6, sometimes 8. It depends on where they are on the scale, more likely than others. So your time is going to be much more valuable spent with those relationships. We can get into more of the science behind it on that side, but a lot of it has to do with the quality of the data.
Is it based on kind of likelihood of your own network to move, or is it across all the networks that you're looking at for all your clients?
That's a great question. And as we build our data science team, it's really about the breadth of your data. So we have those 760 factors across 50% of the U.S. population. So that's what gives it the power.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions for Mike?
Yep. You had mentioned that it can pull in from Gmail and CRM. I mean, how robust is that connection in terms of being able to connect to different types of CRMs or other databases that an agent might have?
It's a great question.
Be happy to take that one.
Yeah, so I'll patent that off to my CTO, and I want to say, you see a lot of silent presenters up here, but having a technical co-founder and someone who can lead the data science and engineering is phenomenal, and I have a prediction to make that future Realogy FWD, there will be more than one T-shirt in the room.
So the short answer is it's as robust as the integrator will allow it to be. So with Gmail, we have full synchronization. So we actually, if you enter a new email address or send an email to someone new, that'll come into our app within 10 minutes. Obviously, some CRMs don't have that kind of two-way synchronization. So with most of those that don't have an API, we support CSV dumps. And so
we love integrations. We want to integrate with all the best tools. And that's one of the beauties here is that agents can bring their favorite tools, integrate it, and leverage our intelligence across all of it. The other thing I didn't mention is we do have 40 agents paying on the platform, and we're giving a special Realogy FWD offer to everyone watching on live stream for the next 100 agents that sign up. It's $50 off per month forever.
Okay.
Colin.
I just have a question about the LinkedIn or Facebook, the social aspect. So does the agent user need to be a LinkedIn connection or Facebook friend, and if not, what are the limitations of privacy settings that a user has on what you can scrape or what you can utilize?
It's a great question. So they don't have to be connections. We pull in those for you. So sometimes it can be helpful for you to build out your connections on social. But those social profiles do need to be public. So that's one of the things that's great about our system is everything that you see is public, is fair game for you to use. All the sensitive data is behind the wall. And so we use that for our algorithms, but we can't expose it to the users.
But is there the ability to log in with your social credentials and pull in additional information about your closer users?
It's coming. Yeah. It's one of our hopeful integrations. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, that's a pretty well-spoken tech guy. Nice job. I think what we should do first of all is to give all 15 companies a big round of applause. I think they deserve it especially. We had a few logistical curveballs that we threw at you, and you did really well. You rolled with it, and I think you got your points across and made a good showing. So now what we need to do is do the tough part, which is to figure out which of you will become finalists and which of you are going to walk away with the big grand prize. So what I'm going to ask now is that our judging panel abscond to a secure location and act quickly. About 5 minutes, okay? Right, real-time collaboration and decision-making, okay? There is no app for that. This is human intelligence leaving the room here. Okay, in the meantime, what I'd like to do is to invite Alex up and Sherry up for a little bit and just get their thoughts on the day. I think overall what we saw was a shift away from simply having a form, meaning you have a web application or a website, or 2 years ago we started seeing a preponderance of mobile applications, and what we saw now was really what we couldn't see, which is the data and the math and the intelligence and the predictive magic that sits beneath the web app or sits beneath the mobile app, and you can't see it, but that's really where the value in these applications lie. So if you'll notice, lots of these things didn't have a whiz-bang visual dimension to them, but they were actually vastly more sophisticated than what we saw even a year or two ago. So that was my big takeaway from the day, and it struck me. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, the sophistication level was definitely the best that I've seen out of the 4 events that we've had. There is, though, one constant theme which I thought was really interesting with pretty much all of the presenters, is that in most cases they were practitioners or were involved in a real estate transaction and found something about that transaction that annoyed them or bothered them, and rather than just complaining about it, they actually did something and created a company in order to solve that problem. And I think they should be applauded again for that aggressive nature. It's great.
Sherry, what'd you take away from today?
Well, I agree with Alex wholeheartedly. And, when I think back to the first forward and the second forward, there was technology that was introduced that wasn't solving a problem that we knew of yet. And so today was very different. And I'm not going to say back to basics because it absolutely isn't, but very practical applications, and even, the greeting card piece as well, a way to stay connected to the consumer and solve consumers' problems, not necessarily just our problems as an industry. So I was so impressed with each and every presenter. I mean, it just gives you shivers to think that this group of people thought up such wonderful ideas for our ever-changing industry.
Yeah. I will, I don't know if you know this, Alex, or you know this, Sherry, but I was speaking to one of the presenters beforehand, and he told me that they're based in Manhattan, and he and his 4 co-founders live and work in a 450 square foot apartment together.
So.
Together?
And yes, together,
Wow.
2 air mattresses, bunk bed. They live and work there, built their product there. And you hear these stories about the entrepreneur, the startup, and, it's real. I mean, they're living the life.
Well, it was better than the garage in Menlo Park, California. Yeah.
That's right.
But, and when we questioned them on it, they said, well, we have 125 square feet each. So.
Yeah. It's actually bigger than the average New York City hotel room. But I think the other thing that struck me, Alex, was the diversity of these companies. They were each doing something a little bit different, even though on the surface they appeared sort of similar.
A lot of diversity, and there were a few that that I thought were very interesting. I don't know whether they know it yet, but they had some real enterprise-wide or company wide solutions. There were a couple that I noted about how you could go to a brokerage firm and help them improve their percentage of in-house sales. That's a marketable product if you could deliver that to a broker. So there was an opportunity for that. Better leveraging agents that are in a company across the entire company to do more sales. I think there's some real interesting things that could evolve. It may not have been the original idea, but there's an evolution of that could really be important.
Wow, this is an all-time record, I'd say. All-time record.
Yeah.
That was quick.
When we said quick, you delivered.
Okay, so did you deliver the 3 finalists to the back?
Yes, we did, Brian.
Yes, you did. Okay, thank you, John. You're a capable foreman. They're formulating the slide. And it was interesting too. We saw 2 companies that weren't strictly code-based innovation. They were really about content and connection. I'm thinking about News Story and Millie.
Right.
They didn't build apps, but they did, in one case, charity, the other case, a network of people helping military families, but technology enabled that to happen.
Right. I think both great, great applications.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. So let's look at our 3 finalists.
Do we need a drum roll?
Okay. All right. Finalist number 1 is News Story.
All right.
All right. Finalist number 2 is First. And finalist number 3 for Realogy Forward 2016 pre-close. Okay, so now it falls to all of you to make the hard decision as to who walks away with the grand prize today. So I'm going to have you take out your cell phones. And we need to keep this between us. So we have 200 people in this room here, and we have thousands out there who are not voting. And we want to keep the voting to this select group in the room. So what I'm going to ask you to do is look at the screen. I'm not going to tell you the code, okay? So the number to which you are texting, okay, to put in the phone number part, is 27299, and that's the same for whoever you choose to vote for. The code that's associated with the company you're voting for is the code directly above 27299. Okay? So company 1, if you'll remember, is News Story. Let's go back to the codes, please. I'm standing by. Yeah, we need some standby music for sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. So you see News Story, there's the code. First, there's the code. Pre-close, there's the code. So let's have at it. Please cast your vote. We'll take just a few seconds here. You should get a confirm text back. All right, everybody voted? Are we good? Okay, go ahead and tabulate the votes. We're going to do this in real time, high-tech operation. And then when you're done, please just walk them up to the front. The first runner-up, second runner-up, and then our grand prize winner. The other buzzword from the day that I took away was integration. Open. You can't approach a real estate brokerage or a real estate brand with an application that doesn't play well with other applications. That's just the reality of it. Every real estate agent, every real estate broker sort of likes to blend their own technology mix. And you absolutely have to have an open application that plays well with others, otherwise you're not going to make it too far. We saw a lot of that today. I think most of the applications we saw today were emphatically willing to integrate and work with as many other technology partners as possible.
Brian, do you think we should ask the 3 finalists to come up on stage?
We should do that. I was going to, sure. Why don't we bring them on up? All right. Brett Hagler, come on up. All right, Mike. Rebecca, come on up. All right, why don't you stand in the middle? All right. Right on. How are we coming on the tally? Okay. So how y'all doing? You're all smiling. Yeah, you're doing good? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So we had a selfie today. We had a guy read a testimonial from his phone on stage. We had real-time texting, photos.
The creation of 100 watt.
We did. Yeah, lots of firsts this year. Yeah. They're doing something.
What they're doing is writing the name of the winner on the big check.
They are. Well, the results, they're being audited.
By PricewaterhouseCoopers.
By PricewaterhouseCoopers. That's right.
Some things still need to be done by hand.
Yeah. Okay. You know, you have to get on stage and give this pitch, and then we make you stand here and sweat it out for an extra 2 minutes. You guys are good sports. Okay. Alex, do you want to read these? We have our second runner-up, first runner-up, and winner.
Second runner-up is pre-close. Congratulations. The first runner-up is first, appropriately named, first runner-up. And this should build, let's see, how many houses? Four houses and 4.5 houses here. New Story is the winner, the grand prize winner.
You can keep clapping.
Brett, in addition to the $25,000, we will work with the Zap team, who's here, to get your app on the Zap store. So it will be available to all the Realogy agents on the Zap platform. So congratulations. Did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Here. I'll hold it.
Yeah,
I'll hold the check.
This is a little overwhelming. I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart and from my team's heart. We've put so much hard work and passion into building this new vision, and it's so cool, I think, how everybody saw here, not just the problem that we're solving, on the ground, but also how we're trying to innovate in the space and use technology to do that. And so just thank you so incredibly much. We're going to make everybody here very proud and become one of the best nonprofits in the country. So thank you all.
Okay, so that was an exciting day. I want to thank everyone for coming today, participating, and being part of this, and especially Alex Perillo. It was his vision that brought us all together with our very first forward 4 years ago. So, Alex, thank you. Now, as we get ready to leave this room, as Brian mentioned earlier, there is a How to Work with Realogy session that's going to take 45 minutes, and you'll learn how to do business with us. So we'd like to invite the 15 finalists and any alumni that joined us today that have been a finalist in previous years. It's in what we call the amphitheater. And so you just walk out, take a little left, a right and a left, and we'll only take 45 minutes of your time, but it'll be well worth it because you'll learn how the different ways are to work with Realogy.
Thank you very much.